Herbert, pump, throw, intercepted! Eric Murray, pick six!
The Houston Texans really surprised a lot of people. The defense just would not stop, man. They were swarming. They completely shut down Justin Herbert and the Chargers. This was a historic day for the defense. 44% of plays Herbert was pressured. He had the 18th worst QBR in a playoff game since 2006, and that just solidifies the game that it was for Houston. And on top of that, they scored 32 points, which is no small feat either. So I want to talk all about this win, what's next for the Texans, and why all of a sudden they are starting to get momentum at the right time after a season full of obstacles and challenges. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so let's recap what went down in the NFL's first game of the playoffs. The Chargers started the game off with the ball, and they actually put together a nice drive. Herbert hit Ladd McConkey for a 10-yard gain, Dobbins had an 8-yard run, Fisk caught a 15-yard pass, really everyone was involved, but at the 16-yard line, the Texans defense stood tall, forcing them to settle for a 35-yard field goal that Cameron Dicker, of course, drilled. And on the first drive for the Texans, they actually had a bad blunder because Mechie fumbled and it was recovered by Derwin James, and all of a sudden, the Chargers were in business. And this started to look like how some people thought this game would go. It would have been a fitting end to what the second half of the season was, but the defense stood tall again, forcing the Chargers to another field goal to make the score 6-0. Really in the playoffs, just limiting the damage can win you games. 3 points instead of 7 is obviously a huge difference, and it makes things feel like they are a lot more in reach. The Chargers defense forced another stop after this. The Houston offense could not get any sort of rhythm to this point. That was until the defense came through. The second quarter was brutal if you like offense, but with 1 minute left to go, CJ Stroud threw a touchdown to Nico Collins to put the Texans on top 7-6. At this point, if you bet on the under, you were probably feeling pretty good about yourself. But we were all in for a surprise in the second half. But even before that, with 22 seconds left, Houston got into range and kicked a field goal to go up 10-6. Houston started out the second half with the ball, but after a huge 41-yard pass to Nico Collins, Joe Mixon fumbled and completely ruined the momentum that Houston had. But as the theme of the day continued, the Texans defense had another stop, this time shutting down the Chargers on 4th and 2 when Herbert could not complete a pass to Quentin Johnston. After this, Stroud started to get in a rhythm. He spread the ball all over the field. He hit Collins for a 7-yard gain, Cade Stover for 11 yards and then a 7-yard gain. Joe Mixon had a 15-yard run, but flags, man. Houston was undisciplined and forced themselves to settle for 3 to go up 13-6. The Texans D forced another 3 and out, then they gave it back, and the defense had a pick 6. Eric Murray was the guy, and all of a sudden it was 20-6, and Herbo just looked defeated. I know this may be a hot take, but he sucks. He's overrated. He had that one MVP caliber season, but outside of that, all he is an above average QB, and the Houston defense exposed that. After this, guess what happened? Yep, Herbert threw another one. This time it was Derick Stingley Jr., and the Texans tacked on 3 more to make it 23-6. The Chargers did respond with a touchdown, but that was it for them, and Mixon rushed left for a 17-yard TD to make the score 32-12, and that was all she wrote. Looking at some of the numbers from this game, CJ Stroud had 282 yards and a touchdown with 1 interception, Mixon rushed for 106 yards and a touchdown on 4.2 yards per carry, and Nico Collins led the way in the receiving department with 122 yards and a touchdown off 7 receptions. And then the defensive numbers are where I could go on forever. Eric Murray led the way in tackles with 4, and then he of course had that pick 6. Derick Stingley was tied with him, also having 4 tackles, and then he had 2 interceptions. So those 2 alone basically put up numbers that usually an entire defense would. And on top of that, Kamari Lassiter had an interception as well. In this game, Justin Herbert was under pressure in less than 2.5 seconds 11 times. 5 of them were unblocked, the corners were locked down, forcing tight window throws, and Lassiter, as I mentioned, was just all over the place. He had that pick, and one crazy stat is that he did not allow a single reception as the nearest defender. That is crazy out of a rookie. One thing we knew coming into this game was that no matter what, this defensive line was going to come to play. And the way that they play dictates what happens on the back end. And then you add in an all-pro cornerback in Derick Stingley Jr., you add in Kamara, you add in what Murray did, and all that combined makes what happened on Saturday come to fruition. And there really was a lot of talk about Justin Herbert before this game, and I knew there was way too much hype. I had that gut feeling things would not go well for him, and boy was I right. Because it's not like from the jump the Texans defense was dominating. dominating. There was some jitters and Herbert kind of had his way, but he just couldn't capitalize and couldn't put the ball in the end zone, and once the Texans started to settle in, the defense just took over. They forced big turnovers, they scored points themselves, and like I said, it really did all come from holding LA to field goals and not letting them run away with it early. And I can point out individual numbers all I want, but really all of this is because of the swarm mentality that Demeco Ryans has instilled within this team. One of the biggest keys to victory is always to get off the field when you can get off the field. And between 3rd and 4th down, the Houston Texans held the Chargers to 3 of 12. So that's a big number, and that means they are not getting gassed because they are spending plenty of time on the sideline. Anyways, looking ahead, the Texans now play the Chiefs. I know it's the Chiefs, and they just win. But they have had their struggles and weaknesses this season, and if the Texans defense shows up even a little bit like they just did, if CJ Stroud can have a good game, I really do think that Houston has a fighting chance. But there are going to be those moments when you think you have Mahomes stopped and he flips a backwards, sideways, fading out of bounds pass to a running back for a 1st down. But that's just a part of his game, and it's why he already has so many rings this early in his career. It's going to come down to forcing that one big turnover. I think Joe Mixon is going to have a career game, and then Nico Collins is going to have at least one touchdown as well. But yeah, that game is still a ways away. For right now, it's time for Houston to reflect on the win, go over what they did well, and what they can improve on, because against the Chiefs, they will need a better start. Here's what some of the guys had to say in their post-game interviews.
It hasn't always been easy this year, so, but this is just another, thing that, we can use to motivate us even more, to get to the division around whoever we play and play well there. So, yeah, it's amazing, though. I'm so happy and so blessed.
Just an outstanding performance on all 3 phases. Really proud of all of our guys. I can go through each position group. Everybody stepped up and made a play. We needed to make plays. Our best players stepped up and made big plays for us to win this game. And none other than CJ. Just want to make sure, he gets the love that he deserves. Like the play that he made on the fumble snap and throw to Hutch. Like that's the play that just sparked our entire not our offense, but our entire team, right? Seeing the way all of our guys responded after he made the play, and then to come back with another big scramble on the next drive. Just outstanding performance by CJ.
That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point. And if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you'd like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.